She died and realized we were all wrong. The untold story. Everyone, welcome. She used to be a long-distance runner, which is a tough sport. All that repetitive motion and the constant strain on her joints took a toll over time. Her joints got worse, and she ended up with arthritis, causing frequent leg pain. She tried milder treatments first, but they didn't help. During this tough period, she found solace in prayer and Bible study. Eventually, her doctor recommended surgery because nothing else was working. She reached out to her family for support and prayers. It was a challenging journey, but it showed the power of faith and determination in the face of adversity. On the morning of the surgery, the nurse made an observation that she was the most remarkably relaxed individual she had ever seen prior to surgery. Upon entering the operating room, anesthetic was administered. Her consciousness began to gradually blur. After a while, a profound discomfort set in. Irregular heart rhythms emerged, and the sensation of her heart possibly halting became palpable. Breathing grew progressively laborious, as if some force obstructed her breath. Attempts to open her eyes were in vain, for she was devoid of bodily sensation. Terror gripped her as her body involuntarily contorted beyond her control. In the process, she discerned that a severe physical reaction was unfolding, likely triggered by a drug allergy or other complications. Her hope rested on the doctor's swift intervention to restore normal breathing and a regular heartbeat. After a few more moments, everything fell into silence and her agony dissolved. Upon opening her eyes, she found herself on the ceiling of her room. Overhearing the doctor instructing the nurse to fetch additional blood bags, she glimpsed her own pallid face. Yet she felt no alarm or anxiety. She effortlessly passed through the room's walls and ventured into the hospital corridor, encountering no resistance. As she traversed the corridor, an elevator door opened, and a man, visibly agitated, rushed out. Donning a black jacket and clutching a briefcase, he hastened toward the operating room, but slowed down at the entrance. He engaged in a conversation with another doctor, an identity she couldn't recall. The exchange appeared to involve the doctor in the black coat airing grievances about the other doctor. At that juncture, she commenced her ascent through the hospital ceiling, seemingly drawn by an enigmatic force. She continued to ascend until she transcended the hospital roof, finding herself above the hospital. Departing from the hospital, she rapidly traversed the city, a journey so swift that it should have stirred the wind, yet no such sensation reached her. She entered a cave-like expanse, advancing swiftly. A small, radiant light emerged in her path, and she gravitated toward it. Within the light, the back of a man became visible. Subconsciously, she felt an irresistible urge to follow him. The man possessed long hair, adorned in a long, coarse white robe and sandals on his feet. He wore a welcoming smile and extended a warm invitation, beckoning her closer. Approaching him, she experienced indescribable joy and peace. His presence exuded kindness and warmth, making her feel embraced and close. He welcomed her with open arms. Here, she underwent a life review in his presence. A particular memory surfaced, one that filled her with pride. A recollection from her college days when she participated in a volunteer organization. They visited a nearby community weekly to aid the elderly and children, engaging in cleaning, conversations, and play. On one occasion, she accompanied an elderly grandmother to the park for a walk, brightening her day. This experience instilled in her a profound sense of joy and the significance of helping others. However, as her life review unfolded, she was also confronted with a distressing incident that stirred shame and remorse. During her college years, she made the regrettable choice to cheat during an exam by copying someone else's answers, which led to a good grade. When the consequences of her actions became apparent, an overwhelming wave of guilt and remorse engulfed her. She was acutely aware that she had not only cheated her professors, but more importantly, herself. As she contemplated her actions, she turned her gaze towards Jesus. His countenance bore no judgment, only gentleness, forgiveness, and an absence of reproach or commendation. This left her with a mix of nervousness and curiosity regarding what he might be thinking. After a moment of profound silence, Jesus caught her by surprise by asking if she wanted to spend time with him. Her reaction was a blend of astonishment and delight, prompting her to respond with a simple "sure." Together, they ascended a flight of steps, revealing a breathtaking, idyllic landscape before them. The meadow was adorned with exquisite, unknown flowers, while a small river meandered through the scene. Upon reaching the river, she was met with the sight of her departed loved ones on the opposite bank, including her father and grandfather. Their excitement mirrored her own. One individual, initially unidentifiable, was revealed to be her great-grandfather, who had passed away before her birth. They communicated through telepathy. Though her heart longed to embrace them, Jesus advised her that the timing was not right and guided her along the river. Further along the river, a magnificent Greek-style edifice emerged in the distance, resplendent in gleaming white with grand steps and imposing columns. Many individuals donned vibrant white robes. Jesus led her inside, revealing a colossal library filled with books, known as the Library of Heaven. Jesus explained that these books contained the entirety of worldly knowledge. He gestured towards the bookshelves, and as she picked up a random book, she felt an electric surge from its pages. Yet, the text was in an unfamiliar language. Jesus acknowledged her confusion and clarified that these books contained various knowledge, some of which she might not grasp just yet, but it was a place for learning. She perused the bookshelves and found one containing musical notation, encompassing all the music on earth, spanning from classical to modern. Scores for every composition were meticulously documented. Jesus imparted the knowledge that this library wasn't solely for learning, but had the capacity to help her unlock her potential and become more whole. Approaching another bookshelf, Jesus placed a specific book in her hands. Upon opening it, she discovered a comprehensive chronicle of her entire life, spanning from her earliest memories to the present moment. His gaze met hers, brimming with love and familiarity, acknowledging every moment she had lived, whether joyful or challenging. In the wake of this profound connection, Jesus presented her with a choice: return to earth to continue her journey or remain with him. A powerful draw towards Jesus stirred within her, a longing to stay by his side. The love and attention she received in his presence enveloped her like never before. She inquired whether she could see her family at that moment. Yet all she could perceive was a hospital scene, with the doctor engaged in a conversation with her mother, their words inaudible to her. Instead, a montage of scenes unfolded, depicting family and friends offering their prayers, each prayer manifesting as a note, collectively reaching out to where she was. In these moments, she recollected the hardships her mother had endured, her father having passed away when she was very young. She was acutely aware of the immense challenges her mother would face without her. Despite the profound love she felt in this place, she knew she had to return. Jesus conveyed that choosing to return to earth would entail the erasure of most of her memories of this experience. When she made the decision to go back and conveyed it to Jesus, he responded with a smile and a nod. Extending his hand, he tenderly caressed her head, reassuring her not to be afraid and promising to always be by her side, protecting and guiding her. As she re-entered her physical form, her consciousness gradually sharpened. With slow, deliberate movements, she unveiled her eyes and found herself in a hospital bed under the watchful gaze of a doctor. Each inhalation brought with it a resurgence of her vitality, fortified by the unwavering belief in Jesus' perpetual guidance and care. Her convalescence felt preordained, for she knew she had returned to earth with a distinct purpose. The weeks spent in the hospital, encompassing 12 days post-surgery, a stint in the ICU and later a transfer to the general ward, were infused with the enduring love of Jesus, a wellspring from which she continuously drew strength. Upon her return home, she decided to share her transcendent encounter with her mother. She recounted the moment her soul had departed her body during surgery, the peculiar doctor in the black jacket she had seen in the hospital hallway, and her vivid experiences in the realm of heaven. Her mother, initially skeptical, hesitated to fully embrace her narrative. However, when she disclosed her encounter with her great-grandfather in heaven, providing an intricate description of his visage, tall stature, white beard, and a distinctive mole beneath his right eye, her mother's demeanor shifted. Intrigued, her mother delved further, attempting to ascertain the authenticity of her claims. It was this investigation that left her utterly flabbergasted. Notably, she had never laid eyes on her great-grandfather before, and there were no photographic mementos of him in their family abode. The realization that her daughter's description corresponded precisely to her great-grandfather left no room for doubt regarding her celestial rendezvous with Jesus in the realm of heaven.